It is the second week of July. You walk into the grocery store, and there by the front doors is a great wooden bin piled high with watermelons. Dozens of them, every one of them green, every one of them shining, every one of them keeping it secret from you. So you do what everybody does. You pick one up, you turn it over in your hands. You give it a knock with two knuckles, because you have seen other folks knock, and if you are honest with yourself, you have not the faintest idea what you are listening for. And in the end, you take the prettiest one, the shiniest, the biggest, because pretty is all you have got to go on. You carry it home. You set it on the counter, and it sits there all afternoon like a promise. And that evening, with the whole family gathered and the knife going in, you cut it open, and it is pale, pink where it ought to be red, watery, grainy on the tongue, like biting into wet cotton, and it tastes of almost nothing at all. $6, and the better half of it goes out to the compost heap, and what is left you carry down to the chickens, because nobody at the table will finish it. And you tell yourself what everybody tells themselves. You tell yourself you just got a bad one. Bad luck. Now, I want you to sit with this for a moment, because there is no luck in picking a watermelon. There never was. That melon in your hands was not a gamble, and it was not a lottery ticket. It was a letter, written out plain, in a hand as clear as your own mother's. And the only reason you could not read it is that nobody ever sat you down and taught you the alphabet. A ripe watermelon will tell you exactly how sweet it is, and exactly how many long days it lay in the sun. And it will tell you in 6 or 7 different ways all at once, out loud, if you know how to listen. And by the time the two of us are done here, you will read one across a crowded market, the way you read the weather in an evening sky. My name is Amos. I am Amish, and I have grown watermelons in the same low-bottom ground my family has worked for 4 generations, down in a river valley in Ohio, where the summers come in hot and wet, and the melons grow fat and heavy on the vine. I want to take you back to the first time I ever learned this. I could not have been more than 6 or 7 years old. My grandfather took me by the hand to a roadside stand on a dusty August afternoon, and there was a farmer there with a wagon full of melons, and my grandfather did not knock on a single one. He walked slow down that wagon. He would pick one up, turn it over, set it down, pick up another, turn it over, set it down, and then he laid his big cracked hand on one melon near the back, and he said, "Quiet," like he was letting me in on a secret. "This one, Amos. This is the sweet one." And it was. My mother learned these same signs from her mother, and her mother from hers, back further than anybody ever bothered to write down. So let me hand them to you now, the way they were handed to me. Stay with me and go slow, for the very first thing my grandfather taught me is the thing near every soul in that grocery store walks right past. The first thing he did, before he thumped anything, before he did anything else at all, was turn that melon clean over and look at its belly. There is a place on the underside of every watermelon where it lay against the bare, warm earth all the weeks it was growing, a broad, pale patch we call the field spot, or the ground spot. And the color of that patch is the plainest, most honest word a melon can say to you. On a melon that was left on the vine to ripen the way the good Lord intended, that spot is a deep, buttery, creamy yellow. On the very sweetest of them it goes near to orange, the color of fresh churned butter, the color of the yolk of a good farm egg. My grandfather used to run his thumb over it and say that color was made of nothing but time, of days and days of the melon resting warm against the ground, drinking the sun, quietly turning water into sugar in the dark underneath. So the day you find that belly white, chalk white, or a hard, unripe green, I want you to set that melon right back down where you found it. It fooled the picker who cut it, and it will fool you too if you let it. But the white belly never lies about what it is. It means that melon was hauled off the vine too soon, before it ever finished its work, robbed of its long, lazy days in the field. And you must understand a hard thing about a watermelon, a thing that is not true of a peach or a banana on your windowsill. A watermelon does not sweeten one bit after it is cut from the vine. Whatever sugar it had gathered up the morning it was picked is every last grain of sugar it will ever have in this world. So the belly is not a hint, it is a verdict. buttery gold, and you may be holding the sweetest melon of your summer, chalk white, and you walk on by, and you do not look back. I remember the first time I truly understood that. There was a melon on that farmer's wagon, the prettiest one of the whole lot, big and round and shining like it had been waxed, and I reached for it because I was a boy and I did not know any better. My grandfather caught my hand before it landed. He turned that beautiful melon over, and its belly was as white as a Sunday shirt. He set it back down, gentle, so as not to shame the farmer, and he told me a thing I have never once forgotten. He said the prettiest melon on the wagon is very often the one that was cut green and shipped far, dressed up handsome for selling, with no real sweetness in it to speak of. A melon does not owe you a sweet heart for being pretty on the outside. It only owes you sweetness for the days it spent lying in the sun. And the belly is where it keeps that account, honest, in a color it cannot fake. Once the belly has told you its truth, your eye travels up to the end of the melon, up to where it was once joined to the vine, and here the plant leaves you one more note if you have the sense to read it. Right there beside the stem there grows a little curling thread, thin as a bootlace, that the old folks called the tendril, and that tendril keeps a kind of clock. While it is green and soft and alive, the melon is still drinking, still feeding, still holding on to its mother, the vine, and it is telling you plainly that it is not finished. But when that little thread has gone brown and dry and curled up hard, brittle as a bit of old string left out in the weather, that is the vine loosening its grip. That is the melon itself saying, I am done. I have taken up all the sweetness this ground has to give me. My grandfather trusted a dry, curled, brown tendril nearly as much as he trusted his own two eyes, and the stem beside it tells the same story. For a dry, brown stem is the mark of a melon that ripened and let go, while a bright green stem is the mark of one cut down in a hurry, before its time. Now, at the store you will not always be so lucky as to find the tendril still on it, for they snap off easy in the rough of the hauling. But on the day you do find it, brown and curled like a question already answered, you have found yourself a friend, and you can trust him. Now we come to the part everybody thinks they know, and near everybody does wrong. The knock, the thump. I have watched grown men in a produce aisle tap a melon like they were sending a telegraph, quick and frantic and learning nothing. That is not how my grandfather did it. He would lift the melon up, hold it out a little way from his body, cock his head, and give it one good rap with the flat of his knuckles, the same easy way you would knock on a neighbor's door of an evening. And then he would go still, and he would listen, because there is a sound a ripe melon makes, and once you have heard it true, you will never mistake it again as long as you live. A ripe melon answers you deep, and hollow, and full. A low boom, a round, open, rolling plunk, near to the sound of a drum in the next room over, and if you are paying attention you can feel it hum, faint, against the palm that is holding it. That deep, loose sound is water and sugar ringing free inside the rind. An unripe melon gives you back the opposite, a high, tight, dull little tick, hard and close and mean, with no room in it at all. And now and again you will get back a flat, dead thud, heavy and soft and gone, and that one has slipped past its day and turned mealy and stringy in the middle. My grandfather, when he was down to two good ones and had to choose, would lift the melon and lean it right up against his ear and hold it there a breath, feeling the ring as much as hearing it, the way an old clockmaker listens to a watch. Deep and hollow, you carry it home. High and tight, you leave it lie. I want you to practice this one, for it is the hardest of them all to learn, and the finest once you have it in you. That first summer, my grandfather sat me down beside that wagon and let me thump every last melon on it, one after another, and tell him what I heard. And I got it wrong more times than I got it right, and he only nodded and said, again. But by the end of that August, my ear had come in, the way a boy's ear comes in for the sound of his own father's wagon turning up the lane at supper time, and once it came in, I never lost it. Listen for 3 sounds, and you will have it as well. The ripe one booms, low and open and round, like a knock on a full barrel down in the cool of the cellar. The green one ticks, high and hard and tight, like your knuckle rapping on the kitchen table. and the one gone too far gives you a dead, heavy thud, like a fist on a sack of wet sand, with no ring left in it at all. Boom, and you take it. Tick, and you leave it. Thud, and you carry it out to the hogs. And while you have got it up there in your hands, set your palms flat against it and press. Gentle, all the way round. This is a small thing, and most folks never think to do it. A good melon is firm, firm as firm, the whole way around, with no soft place, no caved-in spot, no mush anywhere on it, for a soft spot is the very first whisper of rot working underneath, and one soft spot means the whole melon will turn on you inside a day or two. But there is one end, the blossom end, the end opposite the stem, that on a truly ripe melon will give you back just the smallest bit under the pad of your thumb. And you already know this feeling. You have known it your whole life without ever thinking on it. It is the very same small give you feel in a ripe peach when you cup it in your hand. The give that a hard green peach will not offer you at all. Firm as a drum everywhere, and just that whisper of give down at the flower end. That is a melon standing at the very top of its sweetness. Here is another one my grandfather set great store by, and it is the simplest of the lot, and the one folks forget the quickest, the weight of the thing. Pick your melon up and feel the heft of it, and I mean really feel it. Weigh it in your hand like you were guessing it for a prize at the county fair. A good watermelon is heavy for its size, heavier than your eye tells you it ought to be, and there is a plain reason for it. For all that surprising weight is water and sugar packed in tight, and a heavy melon is a full melon. My grandfather taught me his trick right there at that roadside stand. He would take two melons that looked to be the very same size, one in each hand, and just let them settle, and feel which one pulled down harder, and 9 times out of 10 the heavier of the two was the sweeter of the two. A melon that feels light for its size, that feels like it is mostly air, is a melon that is drying out or never filled in the first place, and you can set that one down without a second thought. A sweet melon has a certain seriousness to it in the hand. It feels like it means business. Now let your eyes go back down to the skin and hunt for 2 things the grocery store has quietly taught a whole generation to be afraid of. The first is a rough, brown, lacy sort of netting, scattered here and there across the green, like the tracks of something small that walked across it in the night. City folks see that netting and they think the melon is scarred or spoiled, and they put it right back. And that, I will tell you plainly, is one of the great mistakes a body can make in a produce aisle. That brown webbing is a scar, sure enough, but it is the sweetest kind of scar there is, for it is the mark left behind where the honeybees came and went, working that melon's flower over and over in the early summer. And here is the marvel of it, the thing that made me love this fruit as a boy. The more times the bees came calling on that blossom, the more sugar the melon set down inside itself. So a melon freckled and webbed with brown is a melon that was loved half to death by the bees, and it will most likely be honey sweet clear through. You will find little rough brown flecks near it sometimes too, sugar spots the old folks called them, and where the sugar is pushing so hard it seeps right out through the skin, you may be sure there is plenty more waiting for you inside. So do not shy from a melon, because it is a little freckled and rough and plain. The flawless, glossy, magazine cover melon is so often the watery, tasteless one. Sweetness, like most every good thing in this life, is not always tidy to look at. And the last thing my grandfather ever taught me about a melon was to be suspicious of the pretty one. The skin itself will tell you one final truth if you hold it to the light. A ripe watermelon wears a dull finish, a deep, flat, matte green with no shine to it, honest and a little weathered. An unripe one is glossy and waxy and bright, near to polished, catching the light like it is showing off. That shine is the coat of a young melon, and it fades away as the fruit ripens on the vine. So the shiny, showy melon that caught your eye clear across the bin and made you reach for it is more likely than not the very one that is not ready. Dull and honest beats bright and green. Out in the melon patch the same as it does most everywhere else a man goes in this world. And I will give you one last old bit of melon lore, though I will be honest and call it lore and not gospel, for I would not have you trust a thing I cannot stand behind. The old-timers used to hold that a round, squat melon was the sweeter girl melon, and a long oval one ran more to water. Now I have eaten sweet melons of every shape the good Lord ever saw fit to make, so I will not swear to you the science holds. But if ever you are standing there with two melons that are equal in every honest test I have given you, there is no harm at all in giving the round one the nod, for luck and for your grandmother's sake. And here I will tell you a thing that is worth near as much as any single one of these signs, now that you have them. Where you buy your melon matters almost as much as which one you choose. The melon in the grocery bin was most likely picked hard and green 1,000 miles from where you stand, so that it could ride a truck for a week without splitting open, and no amount of reading its belly will put back the sweetness it was never given the days to make. But the melon on a farmer's wagon at a roadside stand in the deep of July, or better still, the one you grow in your own back patch, that melon was most likely left on the vine until the very day before it was sold, ripening right up to the end. So when high summer comes and the local stands go up along the county roads, that is the place to carry these signs, and that is where they will pay you back the richest. Buy your melon close to the ground it grew in, and buy it in the heart of the season, and you will find that half of your work has already been done for you. Now I owe you a word of plain honesty before we finish, because I would far rather you trusted me than were impressed by me. Not one of these signs is a promise all on its own. The belly can fool you once in a great while. The thump can fool you. Even that dry tendril will fool an honest man now and again. The whole art of it, the thing my grandfather really taught me on that dusty afternoon, is to read them together, all at once, the way you read a person's whole face and not just their mouth. When 3 or 4 of them agree, when you have got a buttery gold belly and a dry curled tendril and a deep hollow boom and a good honest heft all telling you the same thing, then you have stacked the odds so high in your favor that you will be right far more often than you are ever wrong. And even then, even after 50 years of it, I carry home a mealy one every summer or two, and I only laugh and say the melon went and fooled an old fool, and I feed it to the chickens same as anybody. Nature keeps no vending machine, but she keeps her word, more often than not, to the one who takes the trouble to learn her signs. So before you go back out into your week, let me gather it all up and put it in your hands to carry, the way my grandfather put it in mine. When you stand at that bin next, turn the melon over first, and look for that buttery egg yolk yellow on its belly, and never, ever the chalk white. Run your eye up to the stem, and pray for a tendril gone brown and dry. Knock it once, easy, and wait for that deep and hollow boom to roll back at you. Press it all over for firmness, and feel for that whisper of give down at the flower end. Heft it, and take the one that pulls down heavy for its size. Welcome the brown webbing and the sugar freckles, the fingerprints the bees left behind, and choose the dull, honest skin over the shiny, showy one every single time. Do that, and I will wager you the sweetest slice of the whole summer that you carry a good one home 9 times out of 10, and it will not cost you 1 thin penny more than the sorry melon you would have grabbed by luck and lost. I have a grandchild of my own now, a little one about the very age I was on that dusty afternoon so many years ago, and this past summer I took that small hand in my old cracked one, and we walked slow down a farmer's wagon together, just the same as it was done for me. I did not knock a single melon at first. I picked one up, turned it over, set it down, picked up another, turned it over, set it down, and when at last I found the one, I laid that child's little hand flat against its warm, dull skin, and I said, quiet, like I was letting them in on the oldest secret in the world. This one. This is the sweet one. And it was. That is how a thing like this is meant to travel. Not in a book and not on a screen, but from a rough old hand down into a small new one, summer after summer after summer. And tonight, in its own way, it has traveled as far as you. So take it and carry it well, and one day pass it on. Now I would dearly love to hear from you, and I do read every single one of these, so do not be a stranger down in the comments. Tell me 2 things. Tell me where in this country you are sitting and watching from, your state or your county, and tell me how a watermelon does where you live. Do you grow your own out back in good black dirt, Or do you fight that grocery bin every July like the rest of us? And if it was your own mother or your own grandfather who taught you a sign for a sweet melon that I did not name here tonight, then I am asking you to teach it to me, and to everybody else reading, for these old ways were never once kept safe in books. They were kept in kitchens and gardens and passed from a rough old hand into a small young one, and the comments down below are as good a kitchen table as any I ever sat at. And the next time you and I sit down together, I mean to tell you about tomatoes. There is one small thing the old folks used to do out in the garden in the cool of the evening, right at dusk, one quiet thing that near nobody talks about anymore, and it is the whole entire difference between a store tomato that tastes of pink water and a tomato that tastes the way they tasted when you were a child on your grandmother's porch. It costs you